Hey everyone, welcome to the Daily. Today's Friday, April 19th. Greg Lawless alongside Simon Borg, the formerly you're looking snazzy, my friend. You're looking good.
All for you.
All for this, really? Yeah. Okay, well I thought it might be for the full slate of action in MLS action this weekend. 9 games, 8 of them on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Simon, I'm going to get the 3 storylines you're following specifically this weekend. What's the first one?
Sporting Kansas City, Greg, they have a 5-match shutout streak. They take that streak to L.A. Now they're coming off a road win in midweek, now going on the road to the champs. Can they keep that shutout streak going?
Right now it's 519 minutes, that shutout streak, although they do have to fly all the way across the country. It's a big travel for them in this one. The game is at 10:30 Eastern Time on Saturday night. You can watch it on NBC Sports Network, actually. All right, another storyline. I know this is about Seattle. What's going on?
Seattle, the only winless team in the league, Greg. They go to Colorado, and people might look at that matchup and say, Seattle, maybe they can get their first win. I say no. I say no. Colorado, despite their injuries, playing very good soccer. There's a confidence about them. This is no win for Seattle.
And it's been an interesting week in Colorado. They got a bunch of snow, actually. People have told me it reminds them of the snow that they got ahead of that Costa Rica-U.S. World Cup qualifier. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, but they got a lot of snow earlier this week. That game is at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's on MLS Live. And the third storyline you're watching, what do you got?
Dominic Oduro going back to Chicago, Columbus visiting the Chicago Fire, and Oduro on a good streak of late. Yeah. He's getting starts for Columbus, scored a wonderful goal. We'll see if it makes goal of the week for this week. And I think he, despite the fact that he says maybe this is just like any other game, I think he's going to be charged up to go against Frank Lopez and Fire.
And the Fire is still under a lot of pressure. They need to start picking up some points. That game is at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is the MLS Stream of the Week presented by El Jimador, so you can watch it on MLSsoccer.com Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And speaking of Dominic Oduro, he was on Extra Time Radio podcast with us just yesterday, and we learned about some of his pizza eating technique. He's a big fan of Papa John's pizza, isn't he?
No, I enjoyed him talking about it. He was so passionate, talking about how he's so lucky now, he says, to live about a block away from Papa John's. He tells the story of how when he came to the United States, great stories. You got to listen to it.
And we learned the word for golazo in his native language of Twi. So make sure you go to iTunes, Buzzsprout, or MLSsoccer.com/extra time to download the latest edition of ETR. Well, there's still fallout from the U.S. U-17s not qualifying for the World Cup. And Simon, Landon Donovan from the LA Galaxy, a former U-17 star, in fact, coming out with some very strong words. Let me get to them right away. We need to take a pretty honest look at what's going on, and we all need to do a better job. He's talking about the U-17s not qualifying. He goes on to say, at the end of the day, we should be qualifying for all of these tournaments. What are your reactions to that?
I don't think these tournaments are that important. Would it be nice that the U.S. are in the finals? Sure. But these are teams that come together last minute. They barely get time together. This is not a reflection of American soccer. The senior national team is. And plus, when you get into formats like we've been seeing, tournament formats, where it comes down to one game, we know CONCACAF is very competitive. It's it's a thing people talk about in the CONCACAF region. Look at the U.S. national team. You know, it's not a cakewalk in CONCACAF. So if it comes down to one game, the U.S. is not guaranteed to win.
No, absolutely not. And CONCACAF getting much stronger and much more difficult. You're right. Let us know what you think about the U-17s not qualifying. Leave a comment below, or you can send us a note on Twitter @Gagens and @SimonBorg. Last little bit, speaking about U.S. soccer, U.S. Federation President Sunil Gulati in a big vote today. It's him and Mexican Federation head Justino Compean. They're in a vote today for CONCACAF's seat on the FIFA Executive Committee. Why is this important, Simon?
Well, I think, Greg, it's a measure of the political muscle of both countries in CONCACAF, U.S. and Mexico, two of the most influential countries in that confederation. Who has the most muscle, who can sway people more.
And it gives them a little bit of say in FIFA, certainly a big one of that. Go to MLSsoccer.com for all the news and reaction about that, plus all of the MLS action this weekend. You can get the scouting reports, plus all the previews on MLSsoccer.com.